Today on Do You Even Chopper, we venture up north to Canada to talk to Haley from Little Sweeties. You might know Little Sweeties from their really funny shirts, or even from following Haley or Haylorization on Instagram or any other kind of social media, and get kind of charmed by the unique blend of tough realness and really great humor. You're listening to Do You Even Chopper, presented by The Ton Magazine. Hey Haley, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm really good. So I don't really know how to introduce you or anything necessarily. What do you like to use for your name, like out in the world there? Because I've seen things where you use your name, but then I've also seen like you on a podcast where it's like your Instagram name is what you go by. Like, how do you kind of want your public, like, facing thing to be?
Yeah, like Haylorization is just a nickname I picked as a joke with a friend, and that just kind of stuck. And I don't care if it's like that or not. So you can just call me Haley. It's whatever you prefer.
Okay.
Whatever you want. I'm happy with it all. Just don't
I
call
think
me like
I think I'll call you Haley, because saying Haylorization a million times on a recorded podcast, I might.
Oh yeah, you can call me Haley. Yeah, that's my name.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, and for those who listen, Haley will be in issue 20 of The Ton, which I think will be the first week of June or so that it will actually come out. So we invited her on to talk, and I'm really looking forward to it. Just put it out there. I like your sense of humor. I love the shirts that that are out there, and maybe that's a good kind of place to talk, because I think a lot of people who only know you from the internet, like they know you for the shirts and sense of humor in a broader context than maybe like the Northern Midwest show scene and things like that.
Yeah.
How did that start for you?
The t-shirts?
Yeah.
Oh, the t-shirts came, they were like 2 years ago. They were just something, I was bored. Like, why? Everyone's got a shop and some shirts. Like, I want to try it. So did these funny bootleg shirts. I admit to nothing, but if you have one. And people love them. That was great. And I should probably do another run of bootlegs, but maybe keep it down low for a bit. The idea is you release the shirt for a month and you get it in the month. And that way, by the time the cease and desist comes, the shirts are already gone. So I always avoided it. Yeah. That was the plan.
But there's a sense of humor to them too. Like the kind of juxtaposition of like an Engine and Elvira, for example, which I don't think you did necessarily. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There's a humor to it, or the kittens and flowers and in the Engine. Like there's a sense of humor to it.
It takes a lot of toughness to be that nice. It takes a lot of violence to want to wear a puffy shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to this point where I was like, I don't want to be tough. Oh, I don't want to have tough shit all the time. You'll notice there's like never flames on anything.
No. Like there's literally kittens and flowers.
Yeah. I should hop on the flame bandwagon. I'm sure it would have made me sell more, but I left it alone.
Who do you think your customer base for those shirts are? Are they people who just want to laugh, or?
I never thought of my customer base. I just made the shirt that I thought was funny. And some people requested it, like Waylon Jennings, whoever made that shirt. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that one seems like an easy sell to some people.
Yeah. They wanted David Allan Coe, and I said no.
Well, yeah, there's a couple other problems with that. One, he's still alive.
Yeah.
And two, he's still alive and a former member of a Outlight Biker Club.
Yeah, so let's not do any of that. Yeah, but then it was bike building long before shirts. Shirts were kind of like okay. Yeah. Everyone's got an Instagram shop. Fuck, why don't I try it?
But you actually you have your shop at your house, but you actually work in a a a shop. You're a working person working
Yeah.
in a shop,
So
right?
yes, that's right. So I do have my little shop, and it's like a little tiny little shack, which I love very much. And then I have a shop that I go to for work. So I did work in a big shop with dump trucks and stuff for a while. Um, Before that, I worked in a motorcycle shop, and I got kind of sick of it. I got
Mm.
sick of doing parts because it's a very stressful job. And to all the parts people out there, I fucking feel for you. And when in Canada it's seasonal, so we don't get to ride all year. So when the season hits, you got to be on there. And then I started knowing all the part numbers for all Harley shit, and it was crazy. I had to go. I had to walk away for a bit, but now I'm back into bikes, and it feels really good to be in a team that like supports that now, right? So they make me worse. They feed the demons.
Is it like servicing like daily rider shop, or is it customization, or is it like both?
This one's servicing daily rider baggers, like road glides,
Yeah.
street glides, lowrider STs. And those are the fun. I like those performance builds. Doing fun things, putting those bikes on dynos. Like that's another part of me people don't really know is like new performance, like knowing Olin suspensions and
Oh yeah.
Legend suspensions, which isn't really a big part of the chopper world,
No.
but they appreciate that. Like I can still get, my cost plus 10% discount on my panhead parts there.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
just
like
don't hear very many people in the chopper world being like, I really need to put an Olin suspension on this.
on this hardtail.
Yeah, on this hardtail. You know what? You know what this means? Get
Yeah,
rid of the
yeah,
Springer. Let's get a Legends front end. You just don't hear that.
yeah. So
There are people who
if
do
you
it, but it's like they're
there are,
rare.
yeah, they are rare because, well, you're right. There are a lot of people that will put like a front spring kit in their
Yeah.
hydraulic front end, which I would do that too. But yeah, so you'll notice like on my Instagram or whatever, it's mostly the old stuff. And right now I've been really playing with that panhead. But in the background, there's the moneymaker stuff is all like the new and
Mhm.
the upgrades and performance and having fun with dynos and things like that. And I even want to put the panhead on a dyno, but I'm scared to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
definitely pushing the engine limits a little to get your
Yeah, I
numbers.
just don't want to. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind that
You
it
want
would
to
do
keep it in the
okay.
comfort zone.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you ride anything besides the Panhead, or is that your only like daily rider as far
Well,
as
I also
like
have
street
access
bikes?
to, yeah, I also have access to the new Harley stuff too, so I can ride any of that. But my love of my life is my CB750, and my Panhead is fun, and it's a different kind of love. But I just picked up a sporty too. So maybe I've never built a sporty, so I'm going to be tearing into that, which might end up being a daily because they seem to be really reliable.
Hmm.
And cross it off my checklist of things to chop up and ruin.
What brought you to the 750?
My first bike was a Twin Star, which
Mm.
was like this Honda little Twin Star thing, and it was so cute, and I kept it stock, and I held it in my basement for years, and that started my Honda trajectory. And from that Twin Star, I was working in like I call the place like a Japanese speed shop, so it was
Mm.
like a Japanese main focus Japanese bikes and performance wise in that way and upgrades in that way for your old vintage shops. And the
Mm.
owners of that shop were literally like 100 years old, and they were like savants for all of it. So they trained me in parts and service. And then from there, obviously, if I'm working so close with vintage Japanese stuff, I had a 400 CM400. I
Mm.
chopped that up. So it was a beautiful kind of like a nice natural progression. So if you go deeper into my stuff, you'll see like this progression of building. And then when I had the 400, I said my dream bike's a CB750. And of course, I'm working with engineers and stuff that are, slapping rulers by my head to make sure I'm measuring things correctly. And it gave me a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And so they kind of groom you. They're like, you don't want a tractor. Why would you want a panhead? Why would you want a Harley? They're tractors. You want a finely tuned Japanese bike. Of course, yeah, okay, sure. And I got a CB750 inline four is the first engine I ever built, which is kind of jumping 2 feet first
Yeah, yeah,
into the fucking rapids.
yeah.
But it was wonderful, great experience rebuilding that CB750 and never did me any wrong. And then I said, okay, well, my next dream bike's going to be a panhead. So I skipped all the steps. You're supposed to do Sportster, Shovelhead, and then get to Panhead or whatever. But I skipped it all. Go to Pan, and it was interesting. That one was really fun too.
What was your goal with the panhead? I mean, there's a lot of interesting pieces to it, including the like fabrication on the tank and everything. But like, what was your like when you were starting out with it? What was your goal and vision, and how did things kind of change as you went on?
What's interesting coming from a more like I always say Japanese, right? Japanese fangirl, CB750 at heart type of person. What comes into mind is like, the magazine Street Bike.
Yeah.
Right. The bikes that you see there.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like your Prism tanks, your diggers, you got the crazy fabrication, crazy Bondo work, all on CB750s. You know what I mean? And Honda and all the Triumphs all have this crazy stuff.
Mid-70s. Yeah.
To an Easy Rider magazine, it'd be very rare if you saw something as intricate as you've seen in Street Bike. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From my experience, maybe I'm wrong, but
this is all that period, that mid-70s Arlen Ness period, things were really kind of extravagant as far as that goes.
Yeah. And so I just like, I don't know, like I always have these weird taste, little Japanese inspired ways of doing things. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah. The idea is to always do something different that I've never done before. And on this panhead, I've got color changing paint. I've got fiberglass molds. I've got wild stuff, but I was trying to still keep it tame.
Mm-hmm.
The fender is cut out in flames. And I've got the foot rocker clutch, plates, flames. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
But always inspired by the Street Bike magazine, where you could look at the picture of the CB750 and like stare at it for hours and pick out,
trying to figure out what everything's done.
Yeah, like look at the rake of it all, everything. Like it's just insane. So I think mine are a little bit more far out there than most of the builds that you find out there. And also in mechanical ways too, it's a little bit different. I take on tasks that are probably too much. Yeah.
And you've brought that here for Mama Tried, right?
I brought the XS650 to Mama Tried. 650.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one was like everyone loved that thing.
Yeah.
But I wish I would bring the panhead to Mama Tried. That's a really great show.
How far is that for you?
Like 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad.
Still pretty fun. It's not that bad, yeah.
It's getting back into Canada that's the problem. It's never going into the States.
Really?
It's the Canadian border that's like, that'll fucking make me bend over and cough. Like,
that's really funny because like out here, getting into Canada is like, what are you doing? Shopping. How long are you going to be here? I don't know. Cool. See you later. Come back into the States.
They hate me. Canada hates Canadians. But like, it's just crazy.
Do you think that's true though? I mean, like my experience, maybe it's a difference between BC and because in BC,
well, maybe because I'm crossing the border in a clapped out piece of shit.
Yeah, in BC, they're like everything they talk about are Canadian celebrities and like, oh, did you know that guy's Canadian? Yeah, I know that guy's Canadian. You've told me a million times.
No way.
Yeah. Like,
I haven't spent much time in BC. I really should.
Well, yeah, it's pretty far for you.
Yeah, it is. But I love the West Coast. It seems like a great place to be. Oregon. I want to go to Oregon.
Oregon? Yeah.
Oregon?
Yeah, it depends on, like, there's a big, I live in Washington, so we say Oregon. Like, slightly different than like the body organ or a lung or something like that. Like slightly,
Yeah.
but it's not Oregon or Oregon. I've heard it different ways in Oregon itself, but
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
It's so beautiful. Where are you now?
Olympia, it's
Where's
like
that?
2 hours north of Portland, about an hour
Oh,
south of
you're
Seattle.
where I want to go.
It's the state capital.
Yeah.
The only reason people know it. Oh, I mean, as
Oh
far as
my.
geography, people know it because of music, because of like bands like
Yeah.
Bikini Kill, Wolves in the Throne Rooms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All of my crazy artistic, like bursting from the seams, great friends are all around Portland.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just there's some crazy people, and they've moved from California over to that area.
Yeah,
For
there's a big exodus there, like 25 years ago, like a huge
yeah.
one. I remember, when I was moving to New York in like year 2000, it was a lot of people were leaving Olympia for Portland, and well, not very many people going to places like New York or Austin or some of the other hot spots now. But and then when like Portlandia came out, that TV show, there was a lot of people who moved there because all of a sudden they knew about it.
Okay.
I mean, it's a cool town. I really like Portland. It's had some struggles in the last like few years, but a lot of that is because so many people move there and things change, and then there's friction,
Mm-hmm.
lack of housing, and all that kind of stuff that kind of comes with it.
Yeah.
They have a great motorcycle scene, though. I think you certainly would love it. I mean, beyond like One Moto and stuff, and Tour's great and everything, but I mean, it's just for a rainy town, it's surprising how deep the motorcycle scene goes in Portland. Because it is rainy. Like, it rains from late October, November, all the way through until like a week ago. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's like real rainy. And it's even rainier where I live. Like we're one of the cities in the country, but but you have like a similar problem, right? It's snow and cold. Yeah, and it's still you still have snow on the ground.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit of snow. Some people are out riding. I don't ride that early because the roads are still cold. Mm-hmm. You didn't have this is my brain. Like, I don't know. I don't want to ride when the roads are too cold because then your tires don't get sticky enough. And, everything becomes like an ice rink, even if there's no ice because you got all the dust and there's still salt on the roads still. So you need a couple rainfalls to wash that away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I kind of have a similar, I don't like riding when it's below like 37 Fahrenheit, which
that's cold.
Which would be cold.
What is that, like 4?
That might be like try the calculation's not very easy doing your. I think that's 2 and maybe 2.5 or something.
Under 8, I'm not riding.
Yeah, so I'll go like just above freezing, but once it's freezing, I won't.
Yeah, well, you're still pretty brave for that.
But but if I don't, like in the winter, the only times it gets that cold is when it's dry. And so it's like I have the choice of like, 4 or 5 degrees Celsius or, 40 something and rainy, or wait until it's dry and cold. And otherwise I wouldn't be riding in the winter. I have to pick between the two. And you have rain gear and stuff, but.
What are you riding right now?
Well, my daily is 2020 Lowrider S, and then most of the time, like locally, I'd be riding a 63 Triumph chopper.
Oh wow, cool.
But it has an electrical gremlin right now, and I just haven't had the time to pull the electronics apart. So I might actually give it to my friend who is the fabricator and kind of of it, to have him do the electronics if I can't get to it before a month or so, because now it's like prime riding season. So.
Yeah. Wow. Good for you, man. But the Triumphs are so like awesome. I have a 69 Triumph as a basket case down in my basement, but I'm too intimidated by not having any Whitworth stuff or like working on Triumphs.
I mean, not this is not a paid plug, but you can buy like your Whitworth set, everything you would need for like $79 from Lowbrow. You could do it either with ratchets or the things. The hard things
Oh,
is like some of the not stand like there's some of the like cam puller type stuff, which you can do without them and stuff like that. So
yeah.
you pretty
Yeah.
much have most of what you need with just buying that $79 set of Whitworths.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, lowbrow.
Yeah, because I had to look around for it, and I'd find places like Triumph owners, and the prices would be stupid, and then I'd see this, and I'd be like, well, I'm just gonna go with Tyler and them. So like get
Did you
the
ever meet the old school Triumph guys?
oh yeah,
What
they're
are the
different.
ones with you around your area?
Um, but the ones that like the road bikes, the old Triumph, and they're like road bike riders are very proper and prim and very particular.
Yeah,
They hate my chopper because I
yeah.
chopped it, and they're very
Well,
very
you can get
against
that
it. But
Harley pure too.
yeah,
But I always know like they're so around here. They again they're not a big fan of the chopper, but if there is a chopper, they're like really quirky.
mhm.
Like the Triumph people here are very particular and very quirky.
Yeah. And then, there's like the Triumph, like desert race people is a totally different, they're not the same personality
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
And so we have a lot of the desert rider and like vintage motocross people who use old Triumphs for it. But they're very different like than the restored classic Triumph guys. Like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
guys, like in the car world, I call like the satin jacket guys. They have their
Mhm.
57 Chevy, like all painted with the two colors, and they
Yeah.
drive
Yeah.
in with their satin jacket, and then they don't touch anything, and then they
Oh,
sit there, and then they leave, right? And in some ways,
oh,
and I don't mean it necessarily as an insult because you still
do.
love what you're doing, but it's just a different cultural thing. But in some ways,
Yeah.
the like vintage Triumph guys are like to me some of the satin jacket guys of the motorcycle.
Yeah, you're right.
And
I was building a Model A and I actually ended up selling it because the people like that.
yeah,
Like I just was not into it. Like as soon as I was chopping and channeling this fucking Model A and I dealt with like this influx of this type of person, I just didn't have the patience for it.
yeah,
Like it's just not for me. And I know
Yeah.
it sounds, oh, you got rid of the Model A because of the people around you, should have kept rocking it. I was like, I really don't give a fuck. Like I just like I wasn't in it and I just didn't want to be around those types of people. I didn't
Yeah.
want to hold like everywhere I go, some kind of bullshit happening because this like I just didn't want it. So I was like, sold it, got rid of it. Everyone goes, why'd you get rid of it? Because the fucking people. I didn't want anything.
It's just
to
a
do with
different personality type, and
Yeah.
I'm sure those, and I'm going to say dudes because usually the satin jacket guys are white
That's
dudes,
right.
but those dudes are like probably pretty helpful for each other if you're
Yeah.
like them. But if you're not, they're like, get the fuck out of my world, which
Yeah.
I've seen in
you're
like
right.
almost every kind of like car or motorcycle culture. People
Yeah,
like
you
that
gotta
exist in
understand
all.
them so many fucking times and buy a whole bunch of shit from them for them to like you.
Yeah.
Like you got to pay to play with them.
Yeah. And I think there's even people like that in the chopper world, unfortunately. It's just the whole, every kind of culture, you'll get people with a personality type that wants to be a gatekeeper. And that's just
Get me started.
one of the lame things about it, right? Like, I don't know. And I'm saying that as someone who publishes a magazine, which I have to kind of say yes or no, right? But
Yeah.
I typically wouldn't
Well,
consider
I'm up
that
here, so you're not.
yeah, you're
gatekeeping.
and for people who are listening, like Haley's in the magazine because they emailed or messaged and was like, "Can I be in your magazine?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, that's
Yeah,
fine."
yeah. Like I want to be in the magazine. Your magazine's so cool.
But it's just like if I see something and I like it, yeah, it's a no-brainer. And like sharing what you like with people is what it's about. And even I just made a bad sound. Sorry, people. Even like if I don't have space in a print magazine, sometimes I'll offer the person like, I could put it on our blog or I could put it like on Instagram or something, make some kind of effort. As long as it kind of just matches the stuff that I'm into. Like, and that's the only gatekeeping thing is like, there's just certain kinds of things I'm not into. And like,
Yeah.
it's the reality of it. You know, when
The impression like you're trying to like I get a different impression from you. I don't get the impression like you're like the other magazines out there. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but you do have it seems like a way about this magazine that's more inclusive.
oh yeah, and that's
Yeah, like,
partially by design. Like,
yeah,
me and Susan started it. We started it just because we saw something like an opportunity
yeah,
in telling a story, and the main part of it is when we started, we wanted to tell the story of like Northwest motorcycle culture, and then you know you quickly have to kind of start expanding because people interact with you. But we also
yeah,
wanted to tell the story of like, listen, like you know, chopper culture is not stuck in like this, white dominated like masculine mindset, that there's room for everyone. And that doesn't mean like there's not room for that. It's just that takes up a lot of room and people's conscious about it. But then you see like, look at all the women building bikes now. Like, look at all the people from different kinds of ethnic backgrounds or socioeconomic
I love
backgrounds.
that.
There's like
Yeah,
all these different voices
you're right.
doing it,
Yeah.
and they're communicating with each other through their love of building bikes or riding bikes, right? And so that was kind of the goal, is to like, not like a, we want a percentage of this or a percentage of that, but just to be like open to telling stories that are different than what we saw out there a lot. And storytelling is a big part of it. Like, I feel we're different in that we're not like a photos in like a tech spec magazine, or photos and just that's it. Or so I mean, that's a big plug for the magazine, I guess. But
Yeah, no, I can tell. That's why I messaged you. And I typically don't message anyone anymore, especially on Instagram.
you
But
never know.
I just loved your magazine so much.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're excited to do it. And the last few issues, we've been working with Rag Mag, or Ragmoto Mag, which is an all-female, like small trim size
Oh, nice.
motorcycle magazine. So they have a feature in every issue, starting like in the last issue, and so going forward until they get sick of it, I hope. Or
Yeah,
I mean, I hope they don't get sick of it, but like I hope it keeps going, and that way it's like also sharing like, hey, like there's other people out there who you might dig, like support these people. And like we just did something with Rolling Heavy, which is a van magazine, and it's like, let's try and like show that it's a community. And that's kind of the point of it. That's the point of having a podcast, because as I talk to you offline, like I don't like podcasts really. Like I don't listen to them that much. I like reading and like physical things, but I also like talking to people, and I like kind of the community that it could build. So
yeah, so true.
And otherwise we wouldn't be talking, right? Like if it wasn't, or we would just be corresponding through email and Instagram. And, you don't get the same kind of feeling, right? So
that's right. I agree.
So I want to go back. We'll talk about the Panhead a little more, because I have a couple of questions about that. But I want to, like, before you got a job at a shop, what drew you to want to get a job at the shop, to like start working where your economic well-being is based on some kind of motor?
I'm like, it's so weird how it all happened. It was like so supernatural, not supernatural, but it was just real natural. So I was a dog groomer and a dog trainer for many, many years. And basically rehabilitating animals to be in a forever home, and dealing with like delinquent dogs, And I was getting kind of tired of dealing with the grooming aspect. So I had to move. I had a quarter life crisis, ended up having to move. And I knew that I wanted my motorcycle license. It's something that I've always wanted. So I got that. And I knew that I wanted to build a bike because I couldn't I sat on all these stock bikes and I didn't like any of them.
Yeah.
I didn't like any fucking bike. So, and I've been a long time person from having like the first Dice magazine, like all of that. And I had a couple buddies who were all fabricators, and they said, we should all just build a chopper. Well, it's in my mind, and I want to do it. And I go to this shop, this Japanese speed shop, and I just walk in there and I meet the technician there, and his name is Curtis, short guy, really funny, and I don't know anybody. I don't know a fucking thing. I don't know a single thing. I just started talking to this guy, Curtis. I'm very much like, if I want a side quest, I'm going to go just take the side quest. I'm not like very worried about social interactions really while I'm doing it, only after. So I go and I talk to this Curtis guy. I said, I really want to build like a bob or chopper or something, but I know that I want a really high sissy bar. And I'm like, no direction. I'm not active on Instagram. I don't have anything around me. I'm like, locally, I know a ton of people. I was single at the time, so it was great. And then eventually I got my first bike. And then that guy, Curtis, that I met randomly, who I said I wanted to build a chopper for and start a conversation with. And I went out of my comfort zone. He actually is the one that said, you know what, Haley, why don't you come and work with us over here? Right. And I said, okay, sure. I'll leave the dog for me. I'm getting exhausted. So then I became like a parts person at the desk,
Yeah.
I was the parts girl. And then they had the fiches where you call them microfiches. They're
like the little like magnetic tape for like projecting. That's just how I learned parts. Like because it's such an old shop, you couldn't find the parts fiche for a big red sometimes, though you can now. But if you wanted to find the big red, the ATC, you would grab this card from a binder. And it's like, those things that from the side that you can flick the... Yeah, like a Viewmaster. Yeah.
Thank you. And then you put this under the projector. The projector lights it up, and then you find your parts and your parts numbers from these little pictures. And then, you got to work with them. Yeah, so that's how I learned. And that's how I got there. But that's just from randomly going, I'm going to walk into the shop and just talk to these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know, just forced myself in there.
So did you have the chopper finished before working there, or did you finish it while working there?
I had one chopper I had built before starting, and that was my 400, CM400, which was it was the ugliest piece of shit. It was so ugly. It was so damn ugly. I had a roach cleaner tin for like fumigation as the battery box. It was like, but that thing carried me everywhere. All my friends would hop on the back. It was so comfortable. They'd eat burgers and stuff while I was riding them around. But that was just a fun little grocery getter. It was loud as hell. And then I built that one and I got it safetied there. And they hated it, of course. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I built a CB750 there. And then they would ask me questions like, what RPM do you want to be at on the highway? Like engineers asking me like questions I can't really answer. Like it's a joke. So I got hazed pretty good by all the smarty pants. But they taught me really good. They were really strict.
Was that build, did you fabricate the hardtail, or did you use like an AE? Or
I've never bought a hardtail. Only ever built a wall. And I don't know. To me, it's easier now because I've done so many hardtails. It's easier now to just put it in a jig, even have a homemade jig too.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me now to do it the hard way because I've done the hard way so many times.
Because you don't know otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's always been lots of fun. Like people ask me that a lot. What kind of kit are you going to put in the hardtail? I go, I'm not. I just build it. But there's no reward for me for building the hardtail. I'm sure if I had a hardtail kit, it would be actually quite nice, right? But I have a jig. it's a little bit like easier. It's part of the fun,
Yeah.
anyways. To build it.
So, and then after the 750, then that's when you started the panhead.
No, I did an XS 650 too
Oh yeah.
then, and that one is the one that went to Mama tried.
Yeah.
From that build, there was some choppers in between, kind of scattered here and there. There's lots of little projects, like a scooter chopper, and like that I have in the basement still. I haven't shared that to anybody yet, which I probably should because there's people asking me for it. Scooter choppers, lawnmower racer, golf carts, like
Oh
all
wow.
this
Yeah, you've been busy.
shitbox shit, because I enjoy lots of mini bikes because that's all fun. And then the panhead after the XS 650, which, yeah, and then now there'll be a sporty, and then again, lots of little bike shit in between that too. But yeah, it was a big jump.
With the panhead, the tank, how did you fabricate that? Is it fiberglass or is it metal fabrication?
So I was going through this like weird anti-wassel fucking that I was doing because I was just so sick of seeing them all the time. But to the commoner's eye, a wasp tank looks close enough to a fucking wassel anyways. So I got a wasp tank, and I didn't make it myself, which is nice. And I did fiberglass. So I got fiberglass bones on that. And it was my first experience with fiberglass. I really wish I would love to get more into fiberglass. But that was my first shot at it. It started off as going to be a dog's head, but the skull coming out.
Oh, I see.
And this looked like shit.
Do you still have the fiberglass mold from it like that you made?
No, because I did it right on the tank. So the fiberglass right on the tank, and I was molding the fiberglass. I don't know. And then the bones just looked really cute, so I stuck with that. Yeah, it was interesting. I like fiberglass a lot.
Yeah. How long did it take you to build the bike?
I think about it, I don't know, if I took away waiting for some things, I would say about 7 months or so.
Yeah.
Give or take.
But waiting for things like a year or so?
I'm not doing it once a Sunday, once a week, and I didn't fully get to, because I was working in another shop, not because I was in a townhouse before. I didn't have a driveway, or I had a driveway, I had a garage. So I built my bikes in someone else's garage for a while, and they allowed me to use their space, which is awesome. And then now, since I've moved into this place, I've got my own stuff and have my own shop. So it's it really was growing pains. A lot of people think oh, you have everything. No, fuck off. Not even close. Yeah.
I built also that's that makes the experience worthwhile, right?
Yeah, and it gives you a different perspective, right? I wasn't sponsored. My panhead wasn't sponsored. So it was something that I saved up for. And all the bikes I saved up for. And I think my CB750 was funded by a rear end at an intersection. And then I said to the guy, okay, well, here's what we can do. We can go through insurance, or I'll go get some quotes and you can give me the cash. And I had this shit fucking Ford Fiesta hatchback shit. Do you think I care if it's fucking torn up anymore? I was ready to write it off.
Yeah.
And it's past its 100,000 kilometer limit of life, right? It's done. So then he said, well, go get the quotes. So I went around and got the quotes, and then he gave me money. And I said, well, I guess I'll buy a CB750 with this. And even the 750 was just the engine, pretty much, and a bit of the frame.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then you just built everything around it.
Same with the panhead, was just the engine, primary Jenny, and the transmission. That was it. And it's a shovel and frame in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's this isn't it was just straight hustling the whole way.
but it also makes it you feel more attached.
Oh yeah. Yeah. On all of the bikes, they have a story, except for maybe the XS 650, because I did that one kind of out of spite. But also my CB750 is purple. And in the time when I lived in the city, I would take my CB750 to work. And there was a young child who was young, the cutest little girl, always waiting for a bus when I went to work.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in like the sparkly backpack, like glitter galore, very girl's girl. And she would wave to me. And I was like, this fucking girl's tough as nails. Like I'm in the loudest, clapped out. I don't look like I look scary, kind of, right? And she's just going like the most innocent wave every morning. So I started to like fall in love with this little kid, you know, like what a sweetie. I would pay attention to what she was wearing throughout, you know, every time I'd waved her. And it was very much the same. Purple, pink, and like silver sparkles, you know? Mm-hmm. So if you look at I basically built this XS650 for her to see me on it. Wave. But by the time I moved, so she was never able to see this XS650. I didn't know her name. She doesn't even know she inspired me.
That's hilarious.
But it was like, I wish that she could have seen it because she might be riding a bike in the future. The way she was waving at me, you know?
Yeah. Where you are, what's the kind of environment like? Do you feel like you have enough contemporaries, or are you kind of on an island of your own? Like what's it like riding where you are as a, you know, a woman builder, like or
having choppers or building? Well,
I guess both, if there is a difference in the groups.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of builders out here, but there's a lot. But we're spread out. Like we got such a big landmass. Mm. We're spread out, and I try to support them as best as I can. We got great shows like in Montreal, which is like a 6-hour drive or maybe less. Don't hold me to that. And that's great. We got some shows in Ontario too. We got Living Bad Living Road Show. That's a really nice camp out. I like that one. Good people at that one. And again, Rolling Bones in Montreal. But there's not a whole crazy amount. Mm. There's not like you can go to a place and bounce off people, you know? There's not free here where everyone would go and gather. You are very much alone. And then you don't even want to order parts from the States because you'll get dinged on customs. So our parts situation is like almost, I'm not going to say as bad as Australia's, but it's like pretty bad.
Yeah. Because you're not producing your own, and then, you know, the cost is too high.
Riding's great. I always stay in the back of the pack if I ride in large groups because my bikes are always really loud. And I don't care if I don't have to ride in a group of choppers. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Right. So it's like, I like the people.
Yeah.
I'll with, like, some people won't even ride with Honda or like Kawasaki or anything. Like that has to be all shovel heads, or, you know, there's people like that exist.
Well, that's like, just dumb. I mean,
no, they're missing out. Like I can't, all the time, like people are going, I don't believe CB750 should like have this on it, or like some guy that only has Harleys. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like the CB750 has such a place. Like, what is going on? Like, how do you ignore its place, right? And how can you ignore bikes like a Widowmaker, an H2, Cowie H2, like triple fucking thumper, like a 2-stroke? Like, what are you doing? Or an SR500, which is like kickstart 500cc and one fucking barrel. What is on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Like
my attitude is I'm just stoked when people are riding something that has 2 wheels, or even 3, to be honest. And
me too.
Like, but that's me. Like, I understand people like that, but I don't understand it personally, like, because it's not how I am. You know, and I of course, I have multiple Harleys, and I have like a Triumph and stuff. I have a taste, but that's mine. Like, like, you're on a bike. Like, I only have one exception, and I do have an exception, is that
lay it for me.
When I was 16, 17, I was way into Vespas, like really into Vespas, and it was part of a like subculture that I was like really involved in.
Piaggio now, right?
What?
Is it Piaggio now?
Vespas? Yeah, Piaggios. And like way into them. And so I did a little like zine, like punk rock zine. This is in the 1990s.
Cool.
And the zine was I Hate Gold Wings. And because to me, it was just so the like the anti version of a Vespa, right? It was like this
Yeah.
big thing. And at the time, like the like drop down stabilizer for and reverse for a motorcycle had just come out on
Yeah.
the Goldwing in the late 90s
Yeah.
and stuff. And so to me, it was like the antithesis. And that's like a teenage, like held view, right? And you would think now,
Yeah.
like, oh, everyone, everything. But for some reason, that view I had has tainted how I feel about them even today. Like, and I just can't get it. Otherwise, like, as long as you're riding a motorcycle or a scooter or like electric bike, I don't give a shit. Like, as long as you're out there, more people riding makes it safer for us from people.
Yeah.
More awareness of people riding, and that's
I
all
agree.
I give a crap about. But
Yeah. Gold
yeah,
wings.
fuck the Goldwing. Hit that bike.
Lots of people ripping around on those, but you can still get them for $200 on Marketplace, you know.
What's that?
The gold wings.
Oh
You
yeah.
can still, they're so cheap. Like no one wants them. Unless they had it since they bought it or something.
And the people who ride them because they love them, right? Like they like sitting on a recliner couch too. I'm sure. Like,
but some of these new road glides are like that too. They're like so comfortable, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't own one. They're so expensive.
They are.
And I probably would never buy one because the style to me is something I hate. But I definitely don't put them mentally in the same way as a Goldwing just because of that childhood, like scooter riding, like punk asshole, like attitude.
Do you still have it? You should post it.
You know, I don't. And most listeners probably know, but some people like, we had a office. The magazine had an office, and the office burnt down. And a lot of my archives of things, like all my photos and flyers and like zines I did, all that stuff was in the office when it burnt down. So I have like nothing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so like a lot of like the artistic output I did from like 13 until I was like 42 disappeared. If it wasn't scanned or digitized, it's kind of lost to the wind.
That's tragic.
It didn't stop the magazine, so that's the good thing. Like we still get to talk to people and do things. And
oh well, good you bounced back. Holy smokes! Yeah. I couldn't imagine losing so much stuff. I've not dealt with that before. I've moved several times, but I've never had something that would just take everything away like that's crazy.
Have you just moved around the same area though, or have you moved like far?
I born and raised in Toronto, and then moved up north, and then was in like other city called Barrie for a while, and then Peterborough, which is another city. But then in order for my son to thrive, my instinct was to get out into the country because my son's like a hunter-gatherer, we'll say. Like he's not sit still type of kid. So we need to go out where he can get into some trouble and be okay. And what I mean by trouble is I bought him a big red. He can go hop on that three-wheeler, the Honda three-wheeler, and get sucked under the tire, and and I moved to an area where there's a lake right here. So we get lots of airplanes that land on the lake and fly off of the lake. We get people. Like if you walk out of my house in the middle of summer, you're going to hear motorcycles, dirt bikes, kids on quads. All the neighborhood is like very motory. It's really cool. And then you got the guys with the boats, the guys with the cigarette boats, the guys that race boats, the airplanes the water planes.
Does the lake freeze over, or is it too big?
Yeah. And then you do races in the winter.
Yeah.
And then everyone takes their snowmobile out on the lake and rips around. And then there's ice fishing. Yeah. And then there's skating. And
do people make the ice fishing huts that are attached to a Honda three-wheeler as the motor to drive them out onto the lake there?
They all do great. Yeah. And it's free to do so because we don't have any like bylaw callers yet. We do have some Airbnbs, but they didn't last very long because if you call the police, there's only one way to get into my neighborhood and one way to get out.
Oh, okay.
So they're like very much like if the cop comes into the neighborhood, we know right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Because
So
everyone sees it.
tell the kids to get off the road, right?
Yeah.
So, because none of the kids should ever get in trouble for riding dirt bikes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They get in, even if they hurt themselves, there's always so. I remember Casper took the 3-wheeler down, and that's my son's name. He took the 3-wheeler down and he broke down. You can get a sense of that he's like broken down because he's not back yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
You know something's up.
Yeah. And so sooner or later, what happens is a guy has him. He's in the back seat of a guy's pickup truck, driven up to the house. Oh, Casper's broken down the hill. No problem. Like it's very much that still.
Yeah. Did you have a similar upbringing? Like, were you free to roam or were you a city?
City, very much.
Wow. Yeah.
But we did I guess the adventure side has got to be genetic because, I know because when I sit on a bike, it feels right. Mm-hmm. It's not forced, it's it just feels like I'm supposed to be on the bike.
Yeah.
Right. So, very city, which I'm glad because I can bring that into raising him. So he's not purely country kid.
Yeah. You have the city perspective, but you live in, yeah.
Exactly.
Did you have a childhood interest in motorcycles or was it?
Yeah, I was always around it. I was raised with it. So it was just it was a matter of time before I got on one, really. It was expected, really, I think, too. My mother was a very, very beautiful, exotic dancer.
Wow.
And she was one of the pioneers in Toronto outreach work for AIDS. And she would do countless hours doing outreach work on the streets of Toronto, handing out condoms and sex education. And she put a lot of work into doing the best that she could for, down and out prostitutes and offering shelter and shit like that. But she was sent all over the world to dance and escort. She was top tier.
Top tier.
Yeah. Never went without food that way. I was jaded from a very early age though, which has given me this great personality. And
I could see your sense of humor now that you said that. I was wow, that makes perfect sense.
Well, totally what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Otherwise, you become even worse or in a rougher situation. You have to kind of.
I never victimized myself when I probably should have in some instances really victimized myself, but I just don't. So I'm just just keep rolling, baby. What can you do? I don't know.
Yeah.
And when you grow up, and I will say I'm very much was growing up, and maybe some would agree or some may disagree now, an ugly duckling. And my mother was stunningly beautiful. My sister also very stunning and thin and gorgeous and white. And here I am born half Lebanese, half Irish. What the fuck? And
I get that one. Do you ever feel like you don't fit into both? Because my mom, Native, my brother's dark hair, dark eyes, right? My dad, red hair, fair eyes, fair skin. I have some of the genetics of Native, but definitely the color and the hair that my dad had and everything. And I always felt growing up because grandparents born on res and went to boarding school, all that kind of stuff. I always felt kind of caught between the two worlds, right? And I didn't quite fit into either of them.
Yeah. And you know what I do what's happening in these most recent years is that if you are it, own it, right? So, I'm a very white passing person. You wouldn't be able to tell I'm Lebanese at all unless I told you. Mm-hmm. So I just stick to it. I just stick to whatever I am. That is who I am. Whatever, fuck it. But there is a point where in the family, if I fit into being the pretty girl or the not, I had to develop skills because I didn't have the looks to fall back on like my sister and my mother, I developed inherently the more masculine traits.
Oh yeah.
Like it was almost like, no, Farah, that's my sister, is like over here and she's in this category, but you can go pull out trees in the backyard, Haley.
You can grind the stumps. That's okay. Like that's your
yeah. Go find fucking worms, okay? Your sister up today, or
like, we're going to the ballet recital for your sister. I want that tree gone by noon.
Yeah, yes, that's it. And I was like, okay, and that's probably also that put me in this category of like, I just do it all myself, anyways, and maybe it made a divide between, I saw early on that, some people get a whole lot of shit for barely doing shit, and they can look a certain way, and that's fine. That's how they play their game. But, I'm Haley and I'm the ugly duckling. So I don't mind doing the work to get there, because that's what I know. Because I can't lean on being a cutie pie and go, I have to do the work because they're going to scrutinize me more no matter what. So when you get to that point, you're like, I'm already fucking rejected. So what does it matter what I say?
Were you a class clown?
Always, yeah. Mm-hmm. But probably disruptive too, maybe. But
yeah.
Always funny. Weird.
Did you get comments on your like report cards like Haley talks too much?
Maybe like I don't remember, but probably Haley talks way too much.
So now that you're there, you said you have a little shed on property.
Yeah.
Like
it fits a Japanese Kai truck. That's how small it is.
Oh, wow.
We can get the Kai truck in it and then shut the thing, but it's nose to butt. Yeah. And then you can kind of walk around it and then it slopes down. Yeah, like it's not, if it was in America, dude, I'd have a fucking mansion. Okay. But what I pay for this tiny little cottage,
it depends on where you are. I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you have a K truck?
Yeah, there's one in the garage. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I
don't
want to get one. So in America, they have to be 25 years old or more to get them.
They have to be old here too. This is 1990 something. It's Jake's, the boyfriend's. Oh, okay. He's building it, and he put the Volkswagen TDI in there.
Oh, cool. Definitely cool.
Yeah, he's really cool. He does a lot of cool. We feed off of each other a lot. Yeah. If I ever have a question, I can just go ask him and vice versa.
Do you guys like work on projects together, or you just have your own and then you help each other when needed? Or
it's hard to get rid of him when it's my turn in the shop. He likes to be in the shop.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so it's hard to say, like, I know that it brings him so much joy to be with me while I'm working. So he stays with me while I'm working, and that's fine.
That's super sweet. That's like how it should be. That's perfect.
Is it? Yeah.
Like, you can't ask for much more than that, right?
And he won't do anything if he'll let me do my thing. Like, and I have to be careful with how I word this, because people want to believe I'm not doing what I'm doing. And so, unfortunately, everyone that doesn't believe me, you're going to have to believe me. There's videos of it. So fuck off.
Well, do you think that's because you're female, or do you think it's just how people are in general?
Do you want the truth, or do you want
the truth, like hard truth?
I think the truth is a lot of male and female people stretch their personal truth, and it's made a lot of people skeptical.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women have stretched their personal truth as well. Mm. And it also ruins it for people who are doing the work.
Yeah.
But I find that, I don't want to sound like a hater, I probably do, but I find like a lot of people that aren't doing the work will never show you that they're doing the work. They have no, like, they just won't, and they'll screw anyone who is doing the work.
Yeah.
That's
I think that exists both men and women, but
that's right.
I'm the type of person that I'm the first to say, like, this bike was built by, Jimmy Davis at Revmo. He did this and that. This is what I contributed. Hand scribbles of what I want, on a bike, or like there is a collaboration, right? There's like an idea involved, but I didn't fucking fabricate that. My welding looks like a bunch of loogies spit on a piece of metal.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that too. I think that's fantastic. I think that to measure my version of enjoyment with motorcycles in the same way that you would measure yours, and me expecting that you should have the same enjoyment that I have, is so ignorant.
Yeah.
You have your form of enjoyment from bikes. I have my form. Maybe you like riding a lot more than I like riding, and I like building a whole lot more than you like building. But at the end of the day, we're still enjoying the bikes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
people walk around and they want to judge someone. They want to judge a woman because she is changing the oil. If she enjoys it, then that's her enjoyment. Fuck off. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Right. But I never really, of course you get idiots. Like, of course you get some idiots in your comments, but I don't get scrutinized nearly as much as some of my female counterparts on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. I don't get the shit that they get.
Do you think it's because you post a lot of content on building, like you're actually building, or do you think it's other reasons?
I've definitely proven my abilities and effortly too.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like everything that I'm saying, you can kind of tell that I'm in it. Like I'm at work for 10 hours a fucking day doing bikes. And then I come home and I'm still doing bikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's certain authenticity there that you can't make up.
Yeah.
Because it's just literally my fault for having this lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
But I bought this on bikes, and not many people can say that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
mean,
what can you do? But some of those girls get viciously attacked, which is really too bad.
yeah, there's no.
And there's so many parasocial weirdos. I mean, I've had
fucking insecurity is all it is.
It's a weird entitlement. Like, you think that leaving a comment means that I'm gonna pay attention to it or listen to it in some ways, and it's like, where's your headspace?
It's like it really matters, right? Like,
yeah.
I find that YouTube can be the worst place for it compared to other places, but like even things that like has nothing to do with you, like, you know, we did a YouTube video on a bike we put that, you know, had pink flames, and some guy, in all seriousness, no joke, was like, you know, things like that, right? Like, and bleep that, I'll probably bleep the word, but it's a derogatory word or something. He'll say something like that, and it's like that sense of entitlement, like that's really going to bother someone. Like, oh, this random person on the internet. Yeah. This random homophobic person on the internet has a problem with pink flames on my bike that I built myself for me. Like, right? Like,
of grandeur, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, this guy with a picture of him from a POV angle from his lap. You know what I mean? Like, it's like some weird shit. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's good. It'll start an argument, and then, you know, you get people defending you, and then all of a sudden, if you're about analytics, it looks great. Like, it shows up. So you can choose
to help your analytics, have someone troll you, ask, and have people defend you, and then all of a sudden, like, you have a viral post. Is that the
yeah, fuck it, right?
Oh, dude.
I usually leave any negative comments up. Some I've had to delete because it was maybe close to doxing, or it may hurt someone else.
Yeah.
And if there hasn't been a reply to it to fight back, then I probably get rid of it, just because it's okay if it's there, if there's a little bit of discourse about it, you know, and then people, but I don't
even do that. Like, if someone says something racist, homophobic, you know, misogynist, I fucking screenshot it. I put it on our stories. Tell the people, like, fuck this guy. I delete the comment and block them, like, because why bother? Like, I don't want to fucking have a conversation with you after doing that. Like, why would I leave it up? You know, and also it's like, you know, fuck it, like. Company, I could do that. If you don't like my company for that reason, like, I understand you have your point of view, but I'm also not telling you and commenting on things and like trying to put you into a certain box, like you're trying to do for no fucking reason. Like, it doesn't help you, doesn't do anything for you. There's no actual benefit other than it makes you feel good.
Like,
crazy.
Stupid. A lot of women get a lot of shit. I don't get the amount of shit that they get, too, which is shitty that they get so much. But I hope that it changes. I also don't put myself out there like they do. You know, it's very rare that I'm in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope things change, but I don't know if they ever will. It's pretty dark out there.
Yeah.
A lot of it just comes from dorks, right?
The optimist in me is like, it will get better. I think I've taken an hour and a half of your time, and
been fun. Yeah.
Time's flown by. So I look forward to running the bike and the magazine.
I'm so happy. Thank you for.
I'm so glad that you came on the podcast, and thanks for everything. This has been really fun.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Do You Even Chopper podcast is a product of The Ton Magazine, a quarterly magazine based out of Olympia, Washington. You can find us at thetonmag.com. We have physical magazines, merch on our shop, as well as if you need digital copies, you can find those in our digital editions section. That's quite new. We will be hosting the Rally in the Valley 4 on July 12th, 2025 at the Valley in Tacoma, Washington. We look forward to seeing you there.